Hello, welcome to another Createful Christmas art project. Today I'm going to show you how to paint this lovely Christmas tree. Createful Christmas is all about enjoying some relaxing time to create some art for decor or for gifting. And we have so much fun and we have tons of projects. If you want full access to all of the projects so you can check that out, here's the link. There's also a link in the description. If you are a Createful Art member, you get all of the color mixing in the full tutorial. You also get a handout that will help you match the colors. Here's the link to where that is at, and also to the membership where you can enjoy all of these fun perks. So for this painting, you're going to need your acrylics, a canvas, and a few paint brushes. I have listed them in the description. You also want water and paper towels. I love to make the supply list simple so you don't need much to begin. All you're going to need is a gold or a bronze gold. I'm using a metallic gold. And then you want to have this dark green color, a forest green works, a teal color, a bluish green, a light blue, a tan, a gray, and you can use a bright red, a maroon. Of course, you don't have to match all of my colors exactly, and you can get creative with your colors. So you're gonna wanna have 5 basic colors here. These are the only colors that you need to mix all of the colors in this tutorial, and I have a link to the colors and the paints in the video's description. Once you have your colors picked out or mixed, you're ready to go on to the next step. So we're going to start with the 1-inch flat brush, and I'm going to start with this lightish blue color, and I'm going to use a couple of the colors in the background of this painting. And what I'm doing is I'm building layers of colors, and this is just the first layer, so it doesn't even matter your brush strokes or where you put your colors. We're just having fun. So I'll be putting some black into all these colors to gray them down and mix them with the blues and the yellows and that kind of stuff, because the background, I'm going to build it up to this gray background that just has so many different grays going on. So I want to make the bottom part darker, so I'm going to add in more of that darker gray so it'll look like the tree is sitting on something like a table. So now it's time to start forming the vase. I'm just using the corner right here that I have some black on. I'm going to create a curve on this side and then a curve on the bottom. And it's so easy to use your brush like this because you can always take away any of the lines at this point and just blend that color in. Although to have more control, I'm going to switch over to my 1/2-inch flat brush here. Okay, so let's add black to that and then continue shaping our vase. So I just want to make sure I have a little room down here. And then at the top here, I've got to decide how big I want it. So I'm going to make a little curve on this side and then a curve on that side. And they're 2 different looking curves, so I'll fix that later, but don't worry because you can just blend stuff in. Right now I'm determining the size, the shape, the style of the vase, and you can enjoy my reference photo right now to help you paint along. So right now I'm going to make this long U shape, and then I'll have this bottom part come out and it be a little bit thinner than what I had before. A little smaller here, just barely coming out on both sides, and then try to even that out. So on the side here where I have some gray, I just use it as shadow. Just blend it right in. The key here is that a vase is symmetrical, so whatever I do on the right side, I need to do on the left side. And of course there'll be more shadow on one side versus the other, but I want to make sure the shape is symmetrical. Once it is, then I can start filling in my vase. And I'm going to focus on that right side having more gray than the left side. So down underneath your vase, depending on how far you want it to come out, you can create more shadow right there with that long U shape, and that'll make it seem like it's bigger at the top. Now, if you've already created your cream color, you can skip ahead, but I'm going to create the cream color. So I have magenta and yellow and white, and that's how I create this. So I create the cream color with those three colors, but then I want to dull it down, gray it down a little bit with some black. And then once I have that color, I can lighten it as much as I want. So this is going to be the color of the side of the vase that is getting hit by light. So I'm going to add it in here, and I'm going to break up this vase on the left side now. This is just the first layers of color on my vase. I'm going to leave some of the gray. So now we're going to start painting the tree, starting with the black. I'm going to mark the top of the tree where I want it. So I want it to be about an inch down and in the middle of the vase. So if I were to take a straight line down the middle, it would be in the middle of the vase. Now I'm going to start on the side and decide how big I want it to go over the vase. So I'm going to create some little scratchy slanted marks right here. And I'm going to follow that line, making a jaggedy line, pulling up and down with my brush all the way to the other side, and on the right side create some lines that are going out, so slanting my brush a little bit. So that's about as far as I want. So I'm going to grab the dark green and I'm going to go above that line. So there's going to be a lot of colors in this tree. So now I'm going to start making my triangle at the top with the colors on my brush. And so I'm just going to make some scratch marks going back and forth. Notice how it blends a little bit with the background, because that background is still wet. That will create some different shades of green and black as well. So we're shaping the tree right here. So see how I created a gap over there on the right? I'm going to do the same thing on the left, because we're going to have levels in this tree. And at this point, it doesn't really matter what color I'm grabbing. I'm just shaping the tree. I'll grab black sometimes, I'll grab green sometimes, I'll even grab some of the lighter colors sometimes. Notice the angle of my brush as well, and then how I'm angling in to create the triangle of this tree. But it's not a perfect triangle. There's going to be pokes coming out. So I just need to fill in this area right here with some loose brush strokes. And my brush strokes are going the directions of how the tree would poke out here. You can just add some different greens in there if you want to. This is just the first layer, so we're just getting an idea of how the colors will work together and blend together and play together. So you can add some lighter colors in here over the black to see how the light will be against the shadow, and it will pull against that and create some depth. So now I'm creating these little pockets of dark, and I'm doing that by twisting my brush around to create different shapes. And I'm focusing on just all over the tree at this point. I have black on my brush, so I'm just going to add a little bit of it down here on the right side of my vase. This allows my tree to dry a little bit so I don't overblend, and I'm just going to form this right side a little bit more and add some shadow area. So notice how I stop about halfway at the bottom of the vase. I want the right side of the table area to be darker so that this vase can stand out. So I'm going to make a darker color here and then move that darker color over on the right side here. Now I'm going to add a different color over there, a gray-blue color, and bring that into the right side by the vase. Now my vase should be dry, so now I'm going to add another layer to my vase. And I'm adding white down here just to brighten it so that it'll be bright against the dark area. So I'm just going to shape it with the edge of my brush so that I have a nice line. And you may or may not need to fix the shape of your vase, or you may need to create a lighter tone against the dark, or you may not. So it just depends on how you're doing with your vase. And I'm just going to do this until I'm happy with it. The next thing I'm going to do is add shadow underneath the tree. So I'm going to grab that blue color that I used on the right side of the vase, and I'm going to put it right underneath the tree here on the vase. And just some blotches right underneath there is all it needs. And see how the left side of the vase is edged with black? I'm going to get rid of that and then just leave a little bit of the edge of the black on the bottom. I'm going to keep adding layers of the light color and just a blotchy way onto this left side until it lightens it up and makes it stand out. Some layers of other greens on my tree. And then just blotch some of this color throughout your tree. Now I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to that color, get a lighter version, and then concentrate on putting that color more on the left side, but I'll still add some dabs on the right side. So now I'm going to create this other color. So basically I'm just barely adding some color to this black to give it a different shade. And then what we're going to do with this color is we're going to focus on putting that on the right side, so the shadowed side. And doing the same thing as we did with that olive color on the left side, going all the way down. With this color, I'm also going to add more texture on the right side, on the very outside. So some more little pokes coming out, just in a few places here. Now I want to create a lighter green and add a different type of green to the left side. Just making some marks with the edge of my brush as I come down. Now I can grab my round brush, that's about a size 6, and I'm going to make a lighter version of that, so more towards the white, and use the tip of my brush to put on some lights here. So notice I make a dot, and I'm going to add them in randomly in places on my Christmas tree. So these can be lights, they can be ornaments, whatever. We're just putting these dots sporadically on the tree. So now I want to add a different color of ornament. You can get creative, or lights, whatever this is, but you can get creative with your colors and create whatever color you want. I'm going to go with this light pinkish orange color. And with this color, I'm going to do the same thing, just randomly selecting places on my tree to put this color. I'm going to add some black to my brush, and then I'm going to create some pokies coming out of the sides of my tree here. And I'll do the same thing on the right side that I'm doing on the left side. And when I go on the left side, sometimes I want to add a little bit of the lighter color because the light is shining on that. Now I'm going to add more dots. I'm going to use a light yellow this time. You can use whatever color you want. Your tree may look different than mine already, but this is the time for personal preferences. So I'm going to add a little bit of this light pink onto this left side, just to add another color in there, to warm it up, and because I want to do that. So now I'm going to grab some of the darker gray and bring that shadow over down here on the bottom, and then let it just blend in with that color. I'm going to wipe off my brush, and then I'm going to add just straight white to it and focus on this left corner. So there shouldn't be really a black outline to the corner there. The outline should be basically the shadow on the outside of the vase and not on the vase itself. So I added the white over there, and then I'm going to add a little bit of black curling in on the vase on the right side. It is good enough right now to leave it as it is. I'm just doing this because this is my personal preference. So if you want to end and be done, then that's fine. Now I'm going to play around with my background. I'm just going to add some colors into it, and you don't have to do this. This again is a personal preference. So if you want to continue playing with your background, go ahead. If not, then you can just move on. Now I'm going to add my favorite color that I actually have in my house that will make this painting look great in my house. This is the color that I decorate with. I love it. So I'm encouraging you to do the same. And if you want to, add it to the background of your painting in just spots here and there. You can even add it to your Christmas tree, your vase, just depends on the color. I'm going to use it in the background and just put pops of that color onto my tree. The next thing I'm going to do is add a star at the top. So when you're happy with your painting, you are done, and I want to thank you so much for showing up today and painting along. I hope you are happy and you had a good time. Remember that there's more videos that you can enjoy. If you want to get full access to them, become a Createful Art member. You also get the reference photos, the full tutorials, weekly art lessons, and help with your color mixing. So I hope that you join us. We have a lot of fun enjoying these perks. Also, if you are enjoying my tutorials, please hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it so you're notified whenever I make a new video. It also helps support this channel. And hit that like button and leave me a comment. That helps YouTube know that these videos are great and it will share it with more people, as well as help support me so that I can continue making these videos for you to enjoy. I also love it when you comment, and I always try to reply when I can. Here are some more videos for you to enjoy, and I'll see you in my next video.